All right, good afternoon. This is Fig & Fruit Nursery and Orchard. My name's Troy, and today we are going to dig up one of my in-ground trees, and we're going to put a different one back in its place. This is the one we're going to put in its place. This is Unguarola. If I ain't badly mistaken, I believe it comes from ponds. And this is socorro black. I have another larger socorro black right next to it. I had put this in here. I had bought socorro black from a couple different sources, and when they leafed out, the cuttings that I had got this one from had different leaves on it than the other socorro black. So I just put one of each in the ground and seen what they wanted to see what happened, and in a year they had the same leaf, the same fruit. They fruited at the same time. There wasn't no different. So that just tells you sometimes that you can have a leaf variant early on when you're rooting. But today we're going to dig this thing up and get it out of here because I don't need two socorro blacks right now. What I need is to see another variety in the ground that can show me what it's doing. And we've got a socorro black and a Borgia soaked grease in the ground, and they're both similar enough. So we're just going to dig this thing up and put it in a 15-gallon. I'm going to go around the edge of it here, kind of loosen it up to get started. May have to take this other side off over here to get in here. I don't know. Just wanted to kind of loosen everything up around it here. It's been in the ground 2 years. Yeah, this is a 2-year-old tree in the ground. Let's see what we get here. You know what? We're going to have to go around on the other side and take that off real quick. That'll sure make it a lot easier. Good thing is these sides remove pretty quick, pretty easy. Two screws. And it just pops right open. No problems. All right. That'll give me a little more room to work. That's the best part of one of the better things about this design is you got nice days here. You can get in here and it's not a big problem to open these boxes up and dig a tree up if you want to. I'm going to take this tree here in about I'm just going to put it in the 15-gallon pot for right now. But in 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, when the weather gets a little better, I'm going to put it in the ground at my mom's next to her house, because we've had real good luck with trees next to her house. There's a Hardy Chicago and a Black Celeste both down there. So I want to see how, everybody's always wondering how cold hardy socorro black is. Well, I'm going to plant it next to my mama's house, give it a little bit of protection and we'll see how it does. And I wanted it to be a nice big tree. And there's no reason this one can't go on and go. Well, it's hard to get out of the ground. I can say that for it. Let's get a hold of it and see what happens. Oh, wow. It's still rooted under there real good. Whew. Whoops. Yep, broke that off, didn't I? Gotta watch doing that, huh? That was that place, it had a bad spot in it anyway. We'll have to do a little work on that spot. I didn't know how big a job this would be. Biggest thing is getting it under there and getting the roots cut. Here it comes. Pull it back that way some. Big taproot down here. I'm gonna have to get a set of big pruners and get in there. There it is. All right, we'll take it out and pot it up here in just a second, but before we do, let's get down here and cut this off a little bit further. Try to pull some of these roots out. I don't want that coming back in here, or something else coming up of it. Now, see, when I originally planted this in here, this was a big, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of showing itself. A big square hole, and I put all kinds of nutrients, and there's little pieces of wood chip, and bone, ground up bone, and pieces of bone. And you can see how deep and dark that gets. There's some biochar in there. Look at that. Speaking of it, look at that black biochar. There's a lot of good stuff in this hole. There's a piece of charred wood chip. I think this is an advantage if you, especially if you have like clay soil like I do. You can plant it like this, and look how easy this hole just, I'm cleaning it out with my hand now because of the soft material. And there's some little bit of gravel and rock down in here. So I have a pretty good plant and rooting environment. Let's get our new tree in there, get it in the ground. There she is. We'll kind of, since we're putting it in the ground, let's loosen it up just a little bit. It should just take right off. I'm going to raise that up a little bit. I like to see it up a little higher. We'll plant this a little higher, put some of this dirt back in here. Yeah, I like that. We'll go ahead and put our self-waterers in here. Since there's all kinds of gravel and stuff in here, I'm just gonna put it in there, and then they've got holes drilled in them where you can fill them up and then they can seep down in there good. That'll be just fine. Get this covered up. Also need to change the way this is. This needs to be like this. Get some of this dirt here and put in there from over here. I like to have those do watering where you can bottom water them when it's really hot, and you don't have to worry about them getting drying out when you can bottom water in the summertime. The biggest reason, my other greenhouse, I put them in all of it, and we're going to walk over and look at it. I'll show you what I got going on there before we quit today. I've got drip on it, but then it's also got this too. That way you can bottom water and drip water. All right, there it is. It's kind of all piled up there, and we'll do some bottom watering, and we're gonna add some more. I'll bring a bag of that wood chip in here and probably put around it. But there's Oniarola in the ground. Let's go pot up this 15-gallon. I'll show you what a 15-gallon big, when you bring one out, what this really looks like. All right, we're over here in greenhouse number 2. Real quick, ain't nothing kicking. I just put this drip line in. It's just drip line. That's all it is, soaker hose. Most of these look like they're still alive. That's a black Celeste, it's scratching green. So all these trees was rejuvenated this year. I'm gonna have to come through here and we're gonna put some black over this. That way it'll smoke these weed grass out and it won't affect us. And then on this other half over here, I've only got 22 trees planted in here right now, and we're gonna plant 22 more on this side, except instead of putting them in these boxes, I got a bunch of these right here. We're gonna plant them in these larger pots and then just cut the bottom of it out and let them root in like that. It won't be quite that tall. We'll probably cut that much off of it, but it'll be a good 18 inches or 2 foot tall, probably a good 18 inches tall. And then I'm gonna cover the whole floor in wood chip. is what we're gonna do here in about the next 30 days or so. I'll get that in here and select 22 more trees to go in here. But I'm trying to get this here, start recharging these beds. I have the bottom water in here, which I can fill up and water them underneath. And I'm actually, will do that here in the next couple days when I get a chance. I'll come in here and fill these bottoms up, but I wanted to start charging these 6-inch raised beds and start getting some moisture in them. Would help start waking my trees up in here. So the chickens got in here and was digging, so I just filled it in with some of that. Because this greenhouse wasn't closed up. I got a 20-foot opening there and an 18-foot opening here. It ain't got no doors on it. It's just a cover is all it is. I was doing that to try and see how well that would work here. Now, by next winter, I will have put the doors on it, and we were going to protect it with styrofoam like we do the other one. So, all right, so there's greenhouse number 2. All right, here we go. Gonna pot this thing up. That's the reason I decided to use that type of a pot for this tree. And you can see, I mean, the roots are, this was a 7-gallon pot. There's where I cut the main off at the bottom. But that's okay. It's a big bare root. Let's get that in there. We probably need to put a little dirt in the bottom first. All right. Get the roots kind of down in there. I want them sticking up. And I want this thing to kind of stand up. I wondered what it would look like when we pruned it or dug it up. When I pruned it last fall, I wondered how it was going to look when we dug it up and put it in here. This will keep it good until it's time to put it in the ground. It's still just a little bit early to be putting fig trees in the ground here in zone 7. Oh, I guess you could, but we could have a cold night and you may need to protect them. Just kind of just shake it down in there, tuck some of the roots down in there. All right, let's put a little more in it, and I believe that'll have it. Like I said, it ain't gonna stay in here very long. All right. Should be good like that. And then we will just load it in a barrel, load it in the truck, and take it down to her house when it's time. I probably, the way that's standing there, I'll probably go ahead and cut that off. Get rid of that. Ain't gonna need it. It don't fit there. That's a lot better. Let this one grow out here. That'll give us another option. All right, Socorro Black. Dug up and removed and Ungularola put back in its place. So, there it is. Thanks for watching.